If you're a small business owner and you want to talk about 1099 versus W-2, a referral strategy, more about tax deductions, IT professionals, having a hobby, and some more stuff we're going to talk about on today's The Tarot Said So. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Linda Ray. I'm a retired financial services professional. Trevor and I have had a few businesses related to financial services, including our SBA EIDL consulting service. He's a retired mortgage banker. I'm a retired insurance professional. I used to own my own agency. And so now I decided I wanted to kind of incorporate some of the curiosities that I've had about more intuitive tools, if you will. And so we took our Biz Glitch 366 project and combined it with some tarot readings. So I hope you have as much fun as I do reading through 7 glitches that cover July 6th through July 12th, which covers glitch number 188 through 194. In the description, there are links to last year's videos that we discussed ad nauseum on this particular glitch. The glitch project is a membership mistake of the day project. So this channel is dedicated to mistakes we've seen, we've made, we've overcome, we've conquered in business, and with not only ourselves and our own businesses, but with clients as well, especially during the pandemic, especially combined with the business financing practice that we had before the pandemic, which was basically shut down because of lockdown in the banks. That's another story for another day, which there's a video around here about that somewhere. Some housekeeping issues. This is just entertainment purposes only. There are no studies to reveal whether or not anything I say today with these glitches that are real mistakes, if this applies to you or not. If you glean any kind of insight or any kind of intuition that speaks to you, let us know in the comments. If something doesn't apply to you, just move on to the next glitch. All the timestamps are in the description, so if something doesn't apply to you at all, you can just skip it and go to the next one, or whichever ones might intrigue you. We are using today a new deck, the Magical Hours, because I thought, well, you know, when you own a business, it's around the clock sometimes. I do have my business class deck standing by just in case. At the end, we will do the success card. I haven't looked at it, so I don't know what it will say or if it will fit or summarize nicely everything that we talk about today. Let's see. Please like and please subscribe if you find any value of this or if this is entertaining for you in any way. If you know anything about the tarot, be sure to comment an interpretation that you might have. That would be awesome. And yeah, let's get started on glitch 188 for July 6th. Can your 1099 contractors choose to work anywhere else at any time? So this came up again. A lot of these glitches were sort of formulated during the pandemic when we worked with thousands of business owners and saw how the pandemic funding program impacted their business, whether it was for a positive effect or a negative effect. With the PPP program, the Payroll Protection Program, this is why our business financing shut down, actually. We had people who contacted us trying to apply for it, and they thought 1099 contractors were employees. So they were counting the employees for the PPP program. So that just made the roster because, you know, if you're not super familiar, then that might be just something that you think is the way it's supposed to be, and it's not. So can 1099 contractors choose to work anywhere else at any time? If not, they're misclassified employees, essentially. So let's see. I cleared this already, but I'm just doing a little shuffle again. These cards are bigger than I'm used to, so it's a handful to shuffle. So, the 3-card spread. Trying something new today. The 3-card spread is going to be energy, a shift that you might need to make, and the result that could potentially present itself. So let's see And let's see if I remember. All right, so the first card is the energy around, can 1099 contractors choose to work anywhere else at any time? Are you working within the labor law guidelines? The first card is the Six of Wands. So that's a victory card. That's a take a lap, you're good to go. The only thing I will say is that, you know, like this in this picture, this could be you're out there and you're doing it, but are you really fine-tuning the processes you have within your own procedures and protocols to ensure that with distinguishing 1099 and W-2, do you have all of that in place so that there's no hurdle that goes unjumped? That makes no sense, but we're going to stick with it anyway. All right, the next card is the shift, in case this is something that is not a victory lap for you. The shift would be the Seven of Cups. So this is having choices. Some of the items in the cups are gifts and some of them are curses, bad news, if you choose that one. When it comes to labor laws and employees or contractors and understanding the inner workings of how to distinguish correctly between the two, there could be a step that might be missed, and all of a sudden you could have a complaint on your hands because somebody is saying, listen, I'm not your employee. You can't tell me what to do, because that's essentially what it is. A contractor is self-employed. A W-2 employee does have to work within the confines of how the employer is structuring the rules, if you will. So the result is, let's see, the Tower. Oh, so this is where you have quick change would come if this isn't addressed correctly. This is a card of change, a card of transformation, something where you'll be moving on from something that was happening before. So the Tower can be not so negative, but in this case, it's really making sure that if there's going to be any change in your business because of practices that have gone overlooked or that are not being tended to properly per your state, there could be some changes that you would have to prepare for. So there you go with our first glitch out of the box. All right, let's make sure we're shuffling these because they're so hard to shuffle. I want to make sure that I get these in here with them being separated. All right, so the next glitch is July 7th, glitch 189. This is another 1099 versus W-2. Do your 1099 contractors have their own equipment, tools, supplies, including PCs? Again, this is another one of those where labor laws distinguish between when you can treat somebody like an employee and they're a contractor. If you have to provide them with supplies, tools, anything to get the job done, then they could be an employee. And really the thing is, essentially the employer, you as the business owner, you are the one who could be in trouble first and foremost before anything else. If there's any kind of issue, it's going to come to your door, because the contractor who thinks he's a contractor and can be on their own, they, again, they have the ability to file a complaint if you're treating them like an employee, but they're self-employed and being contracted by you. So I guess the question would be, how are you managing the business with having employees versus contractors? How is that faring for you? Do you have a clear vision on how your resources, your human resources, how you're structuring that so that you're in compliance? So there we go. That is it. And the energy of this is oof. All right, the Eight of Swords. This is feeling trapped, which, you know, when it comes to compliance and it comes to federal laws and state laws too, there can be a level of anxiety that we feel unsure, that overwhelm of our inner thoughts kind of escaping us and going rogue, and thus keeping us from moving forward, keeping us paralyzed and stuck in the status quo without tending to the things that need to be done. This card, she has the blindfold on. And what I see from this, there's flowers here which bring a level of peace. They look like magnolias, but there's a level of peace that can be had if you untrap yourself from these negative thoughts and beliefs of not understanding how to go about having resources and referring to the resources to make sure you're doing the right thing with the human resources you employ, and making sure that you are, for tax purposes, structuring them correctly so that nobody gets in trouble. Okay, so now that was energy. The shift is the moon. I love there are two moons here. The moon is the card of like secrets, untold illusions of sorts. There's darkness, but there's also light to light the path of forward moving progress for you, for your business. What this tells me is that if you get a little uncomfortable, again, not being all wrapped up in, you know, being trapped, if you get a little uncomfortable with exploring some things you're not quite sure of, this could be a brighter scenario for you, in that it's not something that is scary anymore. And again, the two moons, I love how this one's bright and that one's gorgeous, but this one is bright enough to say we're going to get through this. And the result of tending to some of this, again, some of these are boring business basics. These are the operational standards we have to understand so that our business is compliant, and the only thing we need to focus on is the productivity and the profitability to make money in the business. And the result of tending to this is temperance. So patience. We need a boatload of patience to tend to the boring business basics of the operational stuff, that if this is not your forte, then you must dig down deep into the reservoir of resources so that you can make sure that you're, again, employing all of the tools and resources and all the things that make this possible for you to have in your business with no trouble, with no problems, with no surprises. Okay, I love that for us. All right, next we are, let's see, Glitch 190 for July 8th. No. Yes, okay. All right, Glitch 190 for July 8th. Can you support every tax deduction with documentation? So there are two shorts in the description for this glitch that we did last year, because this is vital. This is one of those glitches that made the roster because we saw so many business owners that weren't sure how their accountant was filing their taxes. They weren't sure that their tax preparer was actually not a CPA, and they didn't know what was going on with their tax deductions. That was last week's reading with tax deductions. Specifically, like, are you familiar? This is speaking to, do you have an organized system for your tax deductions with supporting documentation? Because, hello, audit, that's worst case nightmare. So let's see. And by the way, this was called to me to include, just for fun here, this is a deck that I have. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like the Witch's Tarot. And they have two Ten of Swords, and this is the one for Ten of Swords. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. 190, July 8th. Are you organizing your supporting documentation for tax deductions? The energy card is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords typically is one of deceit, betrayal, sneaky, just really, what's the word I'm looking for? Cunning and all of that. But this is how I'm interpreting it for business owners when we're talking about these types of mistakes in business. This to me can also be a card of strategy, okay? But there is some planning going on with how this card, and this is another moon card, by the way. You have to be strategic when you're carrying this kind of load with maybe potentially too many swords, right? So there's too many swords, and swords is thoughts, ego. If you don't create an organized system for yourself, then it's just scattered and a mess and overwhelming, because then everything is just like catch as catch can, whatever that saying is. Stuff like this requires a system. It requires a methodology so that you are not caught unawares. And again, we've been through all of this. You're not caught where it's 6 months have just passed in this year. If you don't have your documents or your receipts and everything that are associated with the deductions that you intend to, file for 2025 when next year comes, it's super overwhelming that then it doesn't get done. And then you're just like, you know what, I'll take my chances. So to me, this card represents the strategy you don't take and the risks you have to then endure if it comes back to haunt you. Okay, so the shift now to make in the business is the Death card. This is brilliant because the Death card is one of transformation as well. Just like the Tower, it's something that gives you an opportunity to refine what was happening, or if that is just not happening, you move on. And you move on and you establish yourself in a different way than how it was before. And so between the Seven of Swords and the Death card, when it comes to deductions and receipts and expenses, there is a systematic approach. Otherwise, it's completely overwhelming, which is why people have bookkeepers. Okay, the result of tending to this with a strategic approach to avoid a cataclysmic, colossal metamorphosis of sorts is the Page of Pentacles. Pentacles is of material success and wealth, money. And the Page is where you have a curiosity, or someone in your business has the ability to assist you with this so that you're not inundated with this minutia of sorts. When it comes to your money, you want to either employ somebody who is more organized or has more of a methodology with a meditative type process to get this organized for you. So I love that for us. And whew. Oh, again, while I'm shuffling, can you like this video? Can you subscribe? And tell me in the comments if there's a reading of an operational task or something in your business that has you confounded. Would love to hear from people who are interested in some of the operational stuff that you get stuck on. Next glitch, turn the page over, is glitch 191. July 9th, and do you deduct your expenses for a home office? If you have a home office, do you take advantage of the home office deductions that you're allowed on your tax returns? Now, one thing I am aware of, and I think I'm accurate when I say this, is even if you have an office outside your home, but you have a home office as well, a space dedicated to business, because that's what Trevor and I have. We have a home office And we have an office that we go to as well. So the energy card, here we go, is the Three of Swords. This is a card of loss and grief. Maybe you're not taking the time to understand what options you have available to you, or maybe you just don't have a really good CPA. Maybe you don't have a really good accountant. Maybe you don't have a tax preparer who's on the ball with the things that your business needs to make the most out of whatever expenses you can write off. We've done other videos about not writing off everything under the sun if you have a goal of scaling your business and maybe you need working capital and you have to apply for business financing. That's another video. But the Three of Swords, make sure you're looking after this stuff. Make sure you're really digging into how is your tax preparer, how is your CPA, how is your accountant, how are they doing for you? We see a lot of accountants who don't know what they're doing. Let's see what the shift is that you need. The Queen of Cups. So this is the nurturing of all things that can feel overwhelming. I don't know if I just made that up, but I'm going with it because that's what it feels like. This is where you are completely capable. This could also be somebody in your life that can bring you to a place of having a better understanding on how to approach something like this or how to handle a task like this. And you want to be able to emotionally approach this with little drama, because this is one of those things where if you don't tend to this, these are numbers. This is money. This is like, how profitable do you want your business to be if you're not taking advantage of some of the tools within the law? Okay, the result is the Eight of Cups. Maybe it's time to move on from a CPA that isn't working for you, or maybe you need to get a CPA because you're working with a tax preparer. Maybe you're unfamiliar with how your accountant is even qualified to do this type of work. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, especially with the Queen being in the shift position, starting out with some heartache and disappointment. This is temporary. It's time. It's half a year is over. It's time to reevaluate some of the trusted or not so trusted professionals that you have in your business that you rely on. And has there been disappointment? Has there been a lackluster performance by them because they work for you? So, I mean, I don't love it, but we can do this. That's the main thing. So you know what? I might as well tell you this again while I'm shuffling. We have a workbook on preparedness, oversights, and preparedness. It is a booklet of, there's 3 pages of checklists. And it's basically everything we saw during the pandemic, talking to thousands of business owners that we saw where we saw there were mistakes, and our own mistakes that we've made, which are in these glitches. And when they come up, you definitely are going to know, because I am going to be having a lot to say about that. But I'll put the link below, and I'll put a code for you to get it at a reduced price. I think it's $17. But it's one of our beacon guides. And I just think it's brilliant because that's one of the things that I've said many, many times in your business, having an inventory of all the things, having that procedure manual so that you know that you're checking off all the boxes of the things you have to tend to. All right, moving on. Glitch 192, July 10th. Okay, here you go. Are you treating your business like a hobby or not realizing that your hobby that your hobby could be a booming business? So let me see if I could put that in a better way. Are you taking your business seriously? Ooh, this card. Oh, this card. So we got the Three of Wands and we've got the Two of Cups. So, Two of Cups, having support, Three of Wands, making plans and doing all the things to make your business super successful. Let's try this again. How serious are you taking your your business, especially if it's a side hustle, especially if it's something that morphed into more than just a hobby, okay? How are you treating your business? Like a hobby or a booming business? Let's see what it says. All right, the energy is the Fool. Oh, this is so cool. So cool to get the Fool. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. This is the leap of faith card. You know, when I think of a business, starting a business, especially like from a hobby, I think you have to just start, because no matter what, there will be progress and new benchmarks and new milestones that then you can look back and see how you've evolved. All right, so now we're going to talk about, what are we doing here? This is the shift for you to take your business seriously if this is something that's morphing from a hobby or a part-time gig. The Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. This is the businesswoman in the deck. Pentacles is money, and it's material wealth and success and money. So if this is somebody that you have available to you to have as a mentor, someone that can assist you with when you're having a doubt and you need a little pep talk, there might be somebody who can talk to you about, like, stop overthinking and dwelling on the things. That you got to do the things to then see how it works. And let's see what the result is. The Emperor. Now, this is what we got. Two major arcanas in this deck. The Emperor is where there's somebody of authority or someone who has control over these types of how to get started in a business, how to run a business. There may be somebody that can assist you. Maybe you inherently or innately have that capability within you, and you're just maybe too afraid to take that step off the ledge. Maybe there's someone who can help you take that leap of faith that you can do this and scale it to a level where maybe this is the goal is where this is going to be a full-time business instead of a full-time job, that you will nurture this into a place of success for it to be the thing you've been dreaming about. I love this. I love this reading completely for both of us. All right. All right, next. All right, we are second to last, 193 for July 11th. Do you have a trusted IT professional on retainer, or do you have someone that you can have a contract with to handle your IT, your information technology? Do you need an IT professional on retainer? This came up, this is on the roster because when I owned an insurance agency, the business grew over the course of several years, and we went to having someone on call, not on call, but like we call them up and have them come over. Then we really kind of just needed to have the on retainer contract with an IT professional to handle all the things when we were hiring someone new and setting that up, changing out all the firewalls, all the things to keep the computers updated for security purposes. So, not every business needs these type of resources on retainer. I think we have 4 readings now with the series on this channel. And I don't know if it was last week, but we talked about having an attorney on retainer. So this is having an IT professional on retainer. How would having a trusted IT professional benefit your business? Okay, energy is the Queen of Swords. I love this. We got Queens of Cups and Swords and Pentacles. All the queens are coming out. This is the Queen of Intellect. If you look closely at this picture with the eyes on her hands, everything she touches, there's a vision there. And this is where if you're holding off on something of this type of investment or the expense of it, again, looking at the numbers to determine if this would be a viable step. I love this Queen of Swords here. And then we have the Page of Wands. This is another where these could be people who are assisting you in your business. If you're the creative in the business, if you're the talent in the business, and you potentially aren't focusing on numbers and financials and all of that, but the wands are the doing of the things, the passion of the things, the planning of the things. So looking at how can you make this happen? And then the result of addressing that is the Four of Pentacles. Okay, this tells me that if you hold too tightly onto a belief that there's a scarcity mindset there, then the achieving of the scaling of the business or allowing the business to flourish because you're investing in the technology, this could have limitations. This could present a stagnant result, if you will. That's what that says to me. But again, the fours there's a structure there currently. Are you relying on the status quo too much? So that's what that says to me. I love this, except for, again, you're in the driver's seat of executing on plans to evolve the business. Especially since we were just talking about having a hobby as a business, making it into a business, or scaling a business so that you can leave the full-time job and have a full-time business instead. Okay, we're doing the deck differently with putting the cards back so that we don't miss out on the shuffling. Okay. Oh, we're on the last one. This went by super fast. All right, let's see here. Wait, these cards are so big. They're so big. All right, let's see if I can shuffle. Okay. All right, so the next glitch is 194 for July 12th. Oh, this is good. This is in the marketing. Marketing is my love language. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, marketing is my love language. Can your suppliers and vendors send referrals to you for other types of suppliers and vendors? So in other words, it's a mouthful. So let's break it down. First, let's clear this because this is marketing. So this is important. Do you have a referral strategy for anyone that you are associated with in your business? So if you have suppliers and vendors, why not ask them for referrals? Who do they know who could benefit from your product or service, your business, from your business? So are you employing a strategy for referrals, especially with people that you naturally do business with every month or every week or every year or whatever? Are you asking them for referrals? Let's see what the energy is on this. Oh, what? You saw me shuffle. You saw me shuffle. I mean, it was clumsy, but I did it. And this is the Fool again. So what this tells me with this glitch about referrals, this is a very emotionally challenging kind of endeavor. It's scary to ask for referrals because some people get very cagey when you're trying to like sell them or have a sales pitch or, whatever. It's, in my opinion, I think it's short-sighted on their part. If you do not ask, you will not get the business. If you do not have customers and clients, you don't have a business. So and besides, these suppliers and vendors, they're a business owner too. It is not insane to ask them for help. Like, hey, help me out. Know anybody that can benefit from our products or services, from the business that we do? You do business with us, we do business together. How do you feel about working with us? Would you feel comfortable referring somebody to us? and ask the question. Again, leap of faith. If you aren't doing it, why not? All right, the shift to accomplish such a thing is the Eight of Pentacles. This is the you're amazing in your craft card. This is the success of the working in your business and the knowledge of you that you have in your business with whatever it is, whatever the type of business it is. If you're offering products, you're providing quality products. If you're offering services, you're an expert in that realm, right? This tells me if you don't have the confidence, dig deep into scripting it for yourself so that then you can ask and feel confident when you're asking them for it. And the result, let's look. The result is the Emperor again. This is insane. I totally shuffled and I mixed the cards in between the other cards. This is the card of control. So for me, with this particular glitch, between the three of these cards, taking a leap of faith in the experience you have in your business and the quality business that you have to offer to a new customer, a new client, that could be a new way of business development. I love this. I mean, when I get repeats, it kind of freaks me out because I'm like, did I shuffle? Did I really shuffle those cards? But this is the message, I guess. And also because everything's fine. You can do this. That's how it's done. You got to ask for the business. New biz dev. I love that for us. Let's see what the success card tells us today. I haven't looked. Website. All right, so what that tells me is your website is your 24/7 salesperson. So given the fact that we talked about referrals, growing the business, understanding about what people you hire in your business, taking an inventory of your website to make sure it's up to date, that it's clean, easy to follow, easy to buy stuff if you sell stuff on your website. Let's see what it says here. What relevant company information can you put online? What about tools and product extensions? Can you save time and money using a template like WordPress or hosted website builder like Wix or Squarespace? Here we go. This is the quote on here. Websites promote you 24/7. Oh, I didn't even know that was on there. No employee will do that. We're just talking about referrals. The referrals could also be people finding you out of nowhere in the middle of the night while you're sleeping. That is an awesome goal. So let's do it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you next week for more glitches.